The NBA draft is about a month away, and in this video, we're going through every lottery team and who they are going to pick in the upcoming 2026 NBA draft. Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Really excited to jump into this mock draft for the 2026 NBA draft. We're going to start from the bottom with the 14th overall pick. We're just going to jump right into it. With the 14th overall pick in the NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Jaden Quaidance, center out of Kentucky. This is a great pick for them. I think they had a wonderful season. They overperformed a little bit. You can see the guard play of LaMelo, Concanippal, and Brandon Miller really becoming something special. They have some good front court players. Dybantsa had a great season, but they are lacking a little bit of size here. True size. I know Kalkbrenner is a 7-footer, but they could use a little bit more of a physical dominant presence down low. Jaden Quaidance was hurt this year. Didn't get to play that much, but when he is playing, he is a demon, right? He averages 13.6 points per game, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, shoots a high percentage, almost 60%. As long as he can stay on the court and stay healthy, this would be an amazing pick in a stacked NBA draft for the Charlotte Hornets. I think that this would be a great addition to the team, just help with pick and rolls, easy lobs, allowing the guards to play a little less defense if they have a little bit more perimeter or interior help from Quaidance down low. And overall, I just think it's an amazing pick for them at pick 14. With the 13th overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, the Miami Heat select Yaxel Lendenberg, the shooting guard / forward out of Michigan. I love this pick. 14.2 points per game, 9.1 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and 1.5 blocks per game. This guy can do it all. He's a little bit older, but he goes into a system that will excel for him immediately. The Heat are always good. They play great defense. They know how to move the ball, and they use players that have the same stature of a Lendenberg very well. He's a great player who carried Michigan throughout the tournament. It was such a fun run. I thought he had a great tournament, of course, and he's just a do-it-all player, right? He can rebound, he can pass, he can score the ball when needed, he can get streaky, he plays solid two-way defense, so he's a little bit older. That's why I don't think he ends up going into the top 10 in this draft. However, for the Miami Heat, who always try to stay competitive, I think they would love to pick up Lendenberg at pick 13 and have no problem with that. So for the 13th overall pick, we have Lendenberg to the Miami Heat. With the 12th overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, the OKC Thunder select Ade Mara. The rich get richer in this one. I think you can tell so far. I just am recording this after game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Wemby just had an absolute masterclass of a performance. I think they need interior players to compete with him for the years to come. And even though I think Mara can potentially go top 10 with how useful a giant center is seeming to become in this draft, I have him going to the Thunder at 12. He had a great season, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks per game, shoots a high percentage. He's a very talented big man, right? He's like 7'3", 7'4", I think was the official height weigh-in at the combine. And he can do a lot, right? He can shoot. He's got soft hands. He can finish around the rim. He knows how to pass. He's a very talented big man in a world where the giant jumbo center is becoming more of the norm. Having huge players who can just do it all from any position on the floor, from any spot on the floor. I think he's great in terms of setting screens, pick and roll. On an OKC Thunder team, I think this would be a scary pick, and that's why I have him going to the Thunder at 12. With the 11th overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors are selecting Cameron Carr, the guard out of Baylor. This is a up-and-coming prospect for me, and personally, he's averaging 19 points, 5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and shooting almost 40% from 3. He's a hustle player. He's very athletic, and I think would buy the Warriors a little bit of time in terms of their guard play because Pods and Steph Curry, not incredibly known for their defense by any means. I think Cameron Carr will hustle a little bit more than both of them, and the Warriors might just have one last run at it. I think a lot of people might say that they should draft somebody who's a little bit more win ready now, but in my opinion, I think Cameron Carr is a player who can immediately affect both sides of the ball. and should be a great combo guard that helps build this franchise into the next wave of what it's coming to, right? Which is post Steph Curry era, etc. And he's a great player. I think he has a pretty high ceiling just with his physical traits and athletic ability, and really like this pick for the Warriors. I had them going a couple different people in a couple of my mocks, but I landed on Cameron Carr for the official one. Just really like the pairing of a feisty, athletic two guard that can do a little bit more than like a Gary Payton, etc., and help lead the Warriors into the next chapter of their franchise. With the 10th overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, I have the Milwaukee Bucks selecting Nate Ament, the forward out of Tennessee. I liked this pick for one reason and one reason only. It looks like the Giannis sweepstakes is underway. Not sure if he's going to be back in Milwaukee by the time the season starts next year. And Nate Ament has the highest boom or bust potential, I think, out of the draft. Just amazing size, right? He's 6'10", 210, 7-foot wingspan. He averaged 11.5 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists per game. He can kind of do it all. He's a very intriguing prospect. He obviously needs to gain a little bit of weight, be a lot sharper on some of his technical skills, but you can see that the talent is there. And this is a player that I think the Milwaukee Bucks can build around because they have great guards already in Ryan Rollins and Kevin Porter Jr. I think they've kind of found their backcourt of the future. Now they need some wings and front men on the front court to help supplement this guard play, and I think Nate Ament will be a great job of just spacing the floor, running and gunning, catching lobs, being a young athletic wing that is ascending, kind of comparable to like a Buzelis or something like that, that just helps the Milwaukee Bucks gain a little bit more of an identity. You can see that Miles Turner kind of had a bad year, even though he does space the floor. He's just not as athletic or as quick. They just need some younger, more athletic people in their room to pair alongside Giannis or to start looking away from Giannis and get into the next era of Milwaukee Bucks basketball. With the 9th overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, I have the Dallas Mavericks selecting Braden Burries, the shooting guard out of Arizona. I love this pick. I think they could have gone a lot of different ways with this pick, but the picture is clear in Dallas. Cooper Flagg will be having the ball in his hands a lot. They're going to get Kyrie Irving back next year. I think Braden Burries is the perfect complementary player to a Kyrie Irving, right? He can play on both sides of the ball. However, he does know how to shoot. He's a streaky shooter that can space the floor. He averaged 16 points, 4 rebounds per game, 3 assists, and 2 steals. So he plays on both sides of the ball. He hustles very hard, can be a great facilitator when need be. I think he will eventually become the lead guard for Dallas, but for the time being, you let Kyrie live out the rest of his career, make sure that he has the ball in his hands as much as he can, give the ball to Cooper Flagg, and Braden Burries will just play defense. He'll be a 3-and-D combo guard, and he will make the right play when the ball is in his hands, and I think that he has a lot of room to grow in this system for the Dallas Mavericks. With the 8th overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, I have the Atlanta Hawks selecting Mikel Brown Jr., the combo guard out of Louisville. I love this pick for them. I think they are ready to compete for, the Eastern Conference Finals year after year. They have a lot of young players like Jalen Johnson who are really coming to their own. Dyson Daniels, who's all-world defender, right? And you add a guy like Mikel Brown Jr., who I think has maybe a little bit less consistency from like a Braden Burries from the last pick, but a lot more upside, right? He averaged 23 points per game, which is insane. 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 2 steals per game. He can do it all. He plays on both sides of the ball as well. He's a little bit smaller, but I think he just hustles really hard. He's a great, just natural shooter. He kind of is like CJ McCollum light. You kind of want to maybe move on from CJ McCollum. He's getting up there in age and doesn't really play good defense. I think Mikel Brown Jr. could eventually be a better version of him that shoots at the same clip but ends up playing a little bit more defense. Pretty good playmaker in the grand scheme of things. I think that he potentially be a lead guard for Atlanta. No promises there, but you could see that they kind of needed a point guard at the helm to reel in this offense a little bit more. I think Jalen Johnson loves to have the ball in his hands, but he didn't look too comfortable near the end of the season having the ball that much. And This team's ready to go. I think they're missing one or two complementary pieces to get to the Eastern Conference Finals year over year. I think Mikel Brown Jr. is a perfect pick to just develop, and he'll get the shots, he'll get the minutes, he'll be a great rotational player in the first year or two, and then hopefully in the year 2, 3, 4, he becomes a big staple in what the Atlanta Hawks are doing. With the 7th overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Keaton Wagler, the combo guard, point guard out of Illinois. I absolutely love this pick. The Kings fans, I feel so sorry that they've dropped to 7 in this draft, but their team is a mess, right? They kind of became the Bulls 2.0. They gave it a shot with Westbrook, etc., and it just has not been working out. I think what this team's really been needing is a point guard at the helm, running the show, doing their job, getting everybody else involved, and I think Keaton Wagler is a perfect fit for that. He's 6'6", 205, almost a 7-foot wingspan. He averaged 18.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. If you watch him, he can do it all. He's a little bit more timid. I want him to gain some weight, gain some muscle, be a little bit more aggressive. But he's got the ball, he's got the ball handling. He can finish in traffic. He's pretty good from 3, shot almost 40%. I think that the Kings have desperately been waiting for a guard like him to drop to them so they can start developing some of their other talented players, right? Who knows if they're going to move off from Sabonis, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook, right? This team's just old and decrepit. They need to get some fresh faces in there, and I think the perfect way to do that is to get the point guard, a fresh canvas to work with. Keaton Wagler is going to be a great player. I think this is a steal for the Kings at 7. With the 6th overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, I have the Brooklyn Nets selecting Darius Acuff Jr., the point guard out of Arkansas. This is an awesome pick. What a stacked draft it is to begin with. I think the Brooklyn Nets have lost a little bit of identity in terms of their shot creation and their playmaking. I know they've had a million first-round picks in the last year or two, but nobody's taken the helm, right? Igor Demon's not really taken the lead role as a point guard or a shot creator. I think Darius Acuff is not only a tremendous leader, he's an amazing shot creator. He makes big shots. He knows how to get his teammates involved, and he just works hard on both sides of the court. Averages 20 points a game, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 40% from 3. At the end of the day, the Nets just need shot makers. I think they have some good pieces on defense coming up in their fold, but Darius Acuff gives that team a little bit more identity, gives them a point guard at the helm to actually get work done in that offense, and they'll figure out the rest of the pieces as these young players around the Nets organization continue to grow. I think this is an absolute steal at 6, right? This could be a franchise player. He could be the best guard in the draft when it's all said and done 10 years from now. I think the Brooklyn Nets would be silly not to pick him at 6. With the 5th overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Kingston Flemings, the point guard out of Houston. I had them going potentially Acuff here, a lot of different options, but to me, I think the signing and trading for Darius Garland shows their hand a little bit. Darius Garland is a great player. He will be the point guard of the future. You keep Kawhi around, and so what do you need? You need a big man, which maybe it's a little bit too early to take a big man at 5, since you lose out on the top 3 picks. And you go to the next best thing, which is a great complementary shooting guard that can eventually become the point guard in Kingston Flemings. Listen, he knows how to score, 23 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals per game. He plays on both sides of the ball, which I think Darius Garland lacks a little bit of effort in. Kawhi and Kingston on the wings, guarding your 2 best wing players, is pretty scary thought for the years to come. He knows how to hit his shots. He'll hit open threes. He'll let Darius Garland do what he needs to do. If they ever stagger the lineup, then Kingston Flemings can be the ball-dominant guard. I just think it's a great pick to keep this 1-2-3 combo of Garland, Flemings, and Kawhi intact as they continue to find ways to compete with a team like the Thunder or the Spurs in the Western Conference. It's going to be extremely difficult, but the NBA's ebb and flow, right? Sometimes it's all about the bigs, sometimes it's about the guards. I think that this just solidifies their guard play for the years to come, and then it could start working on the front court via free agency since they got rid of Zubac, etc. Love this pick for the Clippers at 5. With the 4th pick In the 2026 NBA draft, my Chicago Bulls are selecting Cameron Boozer, the power forward slash center out of Duke. Absolutely love this pick. I don't think you can go wrong as a Bulls fan. Whoever falls to you at 4 is who you pick. I love Cameron Boozer. I think he's the most polished product in the draft. I think he has a little bit less of a ceiling than a AJ Dybantsa or a Darren Peterson, in my opinion, but I think that he's probably the most NBA ready player, right? He's averaged 22.5 points per game, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 40% from 3. This is everything the Bulls have been wanting and more. They have lacked front court depth for years. They have their guards of the future. I think Giddey's not going anywhere. Buzelis isn't really going anywhere. I could have seen them drafting a Darren Peterson or a Caleb Wilson if they end up following to them. But Cameron Boozer is size, he's physicality, he knows how to make the right play, he can space the floor. His defense is solid. He's just a little bit slow, right? But I think that you make up for that with athleticism in other areas on this Bulls roster. And Cameron Boozer is just going to come in and be a day one starter. I think he's going to make a big difference, right? His dad, Carlos, played for the Bulls for a while, so that's awesome. I just think it's a great fit, right? The Bulls need size, physicality, rebounding, all the smaller detail things. We haven't had a good front court in forever, and Cameron Boozer fills a giant need for the Chicago Bulls at 4. With the 3rd overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, I have the Memphis Grizzlies selecting Caleb Wilson, the power forward out of UNC. I could have seen them going Boozer here, could have seen them going Darren Peterson potentially, but I look at the makeup of the Memphis Grizzlies roster and it's size and physicality, right? They got Coward, they got rid of all their players so they could start building a young core, I think surrounded by size, physicality, length, etc. And Caleb Wilson is a freak, right? He's a freak athlete who can jump out of the gym. He gives his effort on both sides of the ball. He averaged 20 points a game, 10 rebounds, shot 60% from the field. He's got a huge wingspan, 7'2" wingspan. I just think that they're going to covet the athletic ability of Wilson a little bit more as they try to figure out the other pieces of their roster, right? I'm not sure if they are gung-ho on who their point guard of the future is, right? I really like Ty Jerome as a player. He's younger. He knows how to pass the ball. He knows how to score. I think pick and rolls with him and Caleb Wilson are going to be amazing. Cedric Coward will come into his own, and then they are kind of retooling this front court as they got rid of Jaren Jackson Jr., etc. Obviously, Zach Edey is going to be fine there. I think they're just going to rely on physicality and length, right? Their front court of Wilson and Edey would be incredible for years to come. I really like this pick for the Grizzlies at 3. With the 2nd overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, the Utah Jazz select Darren Peterson, the shooting guard out of Kansas. I think the Jazz are extremely talented, right? They obviously tanked this last year intentionally, which they did get fined for, but they are a couple pieces away, I think, from being a very talented team, right? They have Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, Keontae George. They've got plenty of talent, Bailey, etc. They just have the right people in place, I think, to make a run in the Western Conference in a sense, right? At least make the playoffs. I think Darren Peterson could be the best player in the draft, plain and simple. He has the ability to shoot and score like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a 2-time MVP that was just announced. I think he can be an extremely good isolation scorer. He does know how to pass. He does know how to rebound. Obviously, his collegiate career got shaken up a little bit by what people are saying, effort, injuries, etc. I'm sure he was just preserving himself, if you ask me, for the NBA. And he's a beast, right? He's a 3-level scorer. He knows what to do with the ball in his hands. I think he's a smart player. He's a plus player in the grand scheme of things. I think he fits amazing in the 2 spot for this team. And this team becomes a little bit scary, right? You just have like so many pieces of guys who can score, who try hard, who are athletic. I really do enjoy the Jazz's roster construction, and I think adding Darren Peterson can maybe take them over the top in the next 5 years. And with the 1st overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards are selecting AJ Dybantsa, the small forward out of BYU. This is an amazing pick. I feel the same way about the Wizards as I do with the Jazz. I think that they are a couple pieces away. They have a lot of young talent on their team. I think adding Trae Young was a blessing. He's still a 20-10 player in my eyes. Maybe he doesn't play the greatest of defense, but he will let your other players on your roster shine and make up for it with playmaking and shot creation. AJ Dybantsa is a freak, right? 25 points a game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 50%. He's got 7-foot wingspan, 42-inch vert. I think he, is lo and behold the #1 overall pick. I think he has the highest ceiling out of everybody. I think the top 4 players in this draft could all be franchise-altering players. Dybantsa is just a beast, right? He's going to be able to fit into this lineup really well. I don't know if they're going to keep Anthony Davis any longer, but you think about Sarr, Dybantsa in their front court, and then you have Trae Young, George in the background as their guards. Like, this is a team that can get pretty good pretty quickly depending on the development of their young players. And Dybantsa is just a home run pick, I think, no matter what happens. Obviously, #1 pick in the draft. I think he'll fit like a glove. He'll come in day one, be a starter, hopefully average like 15 and 5. With maybe like 2 assists and play a bunch of minutes and be more of a physical presence, right? Like him and AD defensively would be really amazing. And if he can just continue to work on his 3-point shot and just be a little bit more consistent of an outside scorer, Dybantsa's probably going to be the best player in this draft by far. So with the #1 overall pick, the Washington Wizards select AJ Dybantsa. There you have it, guys. There is Savant's 2026 NBA mock draft with all 14 picks in the lottery. I'm super excited for this NBA draft. I think it's the best one that the NBA has had in about a decade, maybe 20 years, in my opinion. I think every lottery pick has the potential or should have had the potential to be top 10 in any other draft, which is awesome for my Chicago Bulls. We got 2 picks coming this year, which is great. And I'm really looking forward to what your guys' thoughts on our NBA mock draft was. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed the graphics, please share it with a friend, like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what we can do better on the channel over here at Savant. We're really excited to jump into the NBA draft this upcoming season, into more content of the Western and Eastern Conference Finals right now, and looking forward to football, which is only about 10 weeks away. We'll start talking about what's going to happen there in terms of roster construction, predictions, etc. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you later.